At the Playmakers Network, sports are more than games. They're a community. From basketball and college football to professional wrestling and Rams football, our shows keep fans informed, entertained, and connected. Watch live, listen on your favorite podcast platform, and join the conversation. The Playmakers Network. Sports, community, conversation.
Sound like some Viking music, don't it?
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud, gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go, let's go.
Shooting, lights out. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Shooting Lights Out, your weekly deep shot into hoops culture, and something has happened with my co-host, which is interesting. Technical difficulties right after the gate with one Mr. Cole Johnson. There he is.
Technology is wonderful.
It's
a beautiful thing. I love it. I love technology like I love Dallas.
Let's not start, okay? Let's not start.
Let's not start. I didn't do a thing.
Change that
this doggone computer
right now.
This doggone computer is pissing me off.
I bet it is.
This is my middle, and this is my middle finger to it.
Change that background.
What problem do you have with the I love Dallas background? I don't understand.
That leads to nonsense coming and foolishness.
I'm professing my love for a city. How is it? How
you ain't professing nothing. Oh, so sucks. Okay, we just gonna stop that right there. Okay.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Shooting Lights Out on this the third Monday in August. 5. That's right. It'll be 5 Mondays in this month. We have a lot of WNBA coverage to present to you. I think my co-host is happy that it's not of the normal fare that it has been the last couple of weeks.
Thank goodness.
And and we'll touch on some NCAA stuff too, and maybe even tiptoe to the NBA realm. But this is the place where you get your weekly deep shot culture with the Playmaker. I am S. Cole Johnson, and if you're tuning into us on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, thank you. If you're tuning into us on the LinkedIn page, thank you again. If you're listening to us on the myriad of places which you can find us, which would be Spotify, which would be iHeartRadio, which would be Apple Podcasts, which would be Amazon Prime, and all other places where you guests, we thank you. You know, Pandora and all the other places too. And if you're listening to us,
one more thing. We're not live on the radio today. I'm doing the test run. So we are live on the Playmakers Network Facebook page.
Oh, so we are live on the Playmakers Network Facebook page. Sorry, Wise. Sorry, we're not live on the Real Wise Global Network and Real Wise Radio. But of course, that is one of our enduring partners because that's my best friend. So everything is all kosher there. So, all right. Well, as you can see, the Playmaker is still trying to see what works and what doesn't. But Shooting Lights Out works for all of you, and we are so thankful that you are here with us.
Before we dive into the show, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the question of the day.
What is the question of the day? That would be, has the increased scrutiny surrounding the W been good or bad for the league's growth? I'll ask that question again. Has the increased scrutiny surrounding the WNBA been good or bad for the league's growth? Type, if you're watching on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, type that underneath the description box. And if you haven't done so already, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, where you will get Shooting Lights Out, Bearing Down the Gridiron, Monarchs of Wrestling, and what's that team that you cover in the NFL? Oh, that's right, Ramley Talk.
Yeah. Which episode 1 has officially was last week. Episode 2 this week. This should be a interesting NFL season.
It looks like it's an interesting off season. Well, yeah, interesting off and preseason for the Rams. You actually might get Aaron Donald back. Man, if that defense wasn't loaded enough.
Let's slow down the AD.
Miles Garrett on one side, Donald on. It could be the other side. It could be in the middle of the line. It could be on the same side as Garrett. Yeah.
Let's gonna slow down on the AD talk. We're taking it one day at a time.
I feel you. I would do, if I were a Rams fan, I would take it one day at a time too. But just think, you got one of the best pass rushes in the game already. You're gonna have one of the greatest Rams to come alongside, and the dude pretty much could just suit up and put the helmet on and just hit the ground running for real. Whew. Wow.
But that's Thursday, and I might be diving into Todd Simpson and his preseason debut and that too. So
yes, so you may have found your heir apparent to Matt Stafford. I said may, not you have.
We both said may, so.
Yeah. But yes, that is for Thursday. For today, other than my love for Dallas, and yes, Dallas, I will be there in a little more than 2 weeks. It's going to be a blast when I get there. Oh, yes.
Him doing shows in Dallas. It's going to be an interesting time for me.
Be interesting all you want, but it's just how it is.
As long as you're not in a restaurant or something, I might be all right.
I don't see myself being in a restaurant recording.
That works.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing that. But yes, that's right. Not next Monday, not the Monday after, but the week the week of the 31st.
Basically September, he's going to be in Dallas.
I will find myself there. Yes. And it's going to be wonderful and glorious. But what also is wonderful and glorious is this wonderful segment that we start off every show, and that is Around the Hardwood. Now, this past weekend, there was this wonderful event that took place at Springfield, Massachusetts. The annual Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. Yes, and there's many that joined and many that should not have. Ones that I think should have joined, Roy Crawford, Mark Few, 1996 U.S. Olympics women's team, Jimika Hoskla, Elena Delle Donne, Candace Parker. Yes, they belong. I don't give a crap about them. But it was a fun had by all in Springfield, Mass. As those who deserve the honor and those who didn't even come close to even sniffing the stage received their orange jackets. Your thoughts, sir?
Congratulations. Candace Parker, L. Deladon, definitely. Joey Crawford, longtime official of basketball. Mark Few, what he's done at Gonzaga.
Can't from nothing to something.
Can't be ignored. The 1996 U.S. women's team. You know why? And I think they did this. I think they're ready to do this on purpose for the 30th anniversary for the WNBA. Because if y'all want to put 2 and 2 together, that 96 Olympic team was the start of the WNBA.
Yeah, that pretty much was the. How can I say this? It was. They wanted to test the waters to see if these special group of women that were not all college aged can actually ball. And yeah, this was proof of concept, basically.
I think the phrase you were looking for, the launching point.
Well, yeah, launching point, but I do really mean proof of concept. Because yeah, you had the girls go in Atlanta that summer, and then the next summer, the WNBA was on the court. But yes, it was the launching pad to the announcement of the league. So yes.
So they use the Olympics to test the waters in the country of the United States to see, can women's basketball be a thing? And it started with the 96 Olympic team. The same team that started the gold medal run for the women's. The women haven't lost a gold medal since. So yes, kudos to them. I'm not going to do it. My co-host is going to do it because he is more. What's the word I'm looking for? He's more disgusted with 3 names that he didn't mention that made it to the Hall of Fame.
So you really want me to? Okay, fine.
You alluded to it.
Okay, well,
you don't want to allude to it.
Well, I'll say the one that you were discussing to see that's in for last. I'll start with the one that I think is least significant of all of them. That's Amari Stoudemire. Why is this fool in the Basketball Hall of Fame? You mean to tell me all you have to do is grab 5 rebounds a game from a fellow Hall of Famer in Steve Nash and dunk for what, 5-6 years, and that garnish you an orange jacket? Give me a break. At least with Karl Malone, he had Stockton feeding him for about 15 years. That makes sense. Him? What did Stoudemire do that revolutionized the league, revolutionized the game? I ain't hearing Nathan. Just like Farrakhan would say, talk to me. That's what I thought. Why is he in? And then Mike D'Antoni, the Negro that coaches and basically says defense is optional and so are 2-point shots.
I thought you were saying you were saving the best for last.
Oh, yeah, I am saving the best for last.
That is not the best for last.
Yes, it is. Because you joined me on this. Because you're joining me on the other one. Now,
why would I join you on the other one?
You know why. Now, with D'Antoni, he pissed me off. He was, of course, a Rockets head coach. He also coached the Suns. He coached the Knicks, too. And he pissed me off forever when in the 2018 Western Conference Finals, it was 3-3. The Rockets at home court. Game 7. We had a 10-point lead going into halftime, but was bricking everything in sight from three. So what does D'Antoni say? Brick some more. 27 straight bricks from three. And that did them in, and the Rockets got took again by the Warriors. Now, we can say, yeah, he sped up offense and made it sexy, and he encouraged point guard play, and he loved to run high screen and rolls like back in Detroit with the Bad Boy Pistons and with Isaiah and Bill Beer. Yay! Shut up! Why is he in the hall? Why? Oh, could it be because he also was a coach, not the head coach, but a coach for the Olympics team? Okay, fine. He gets it for that. But he most certainly don't get it for his NBA exploits. And then we get to Mr. 3-1 to Doc Rivers. Glenn Rivers. He has a great voice. He does wonderful for color commentary. It's wonderful. He knows the game well, but when it comes to coaching, he can give you 50 wins and some talent and maybe give you some excitement in the playoffs, but don't have him have a 3-1 series lead because he'll choke it away. Isn't that right, Playmaker? I said, isn't that right, Playmaker?
No, you messed it whole up. You supposed to say Mike D'Antoni for last when it comes to me.
No, I did it right.
No, Mike D'Antoni.
I did it right. I did it right because and Playmaker knows that I did it right. You heard the sullen voice because
of the two, who won the NBA championship?
Well, Rivers won the NBA championship.
Of the two, who got to the NBA finals?
But he won it with a stacked crew.
It don't matter. Who got to the NBA finals of the two?
Oh, fine. Okay. Then Frank Vogel deserves to be the Hall of Fame.
That works.
I rest my case. Now,
but Mike D'Antoni definitely doesn't deserve it. He never sniffed the NBA finals.
No, true. However, he's that insignificant.
That's why he's for last.
No. He that's why I put him middle, because he's that insignificant. Glenn, that's a different story. Because how is it that you, with the talent that you had in Boston, the talent that you had in Orlando, the talent that you had in Los Angeles with the Clippers, and you only could amass 2 NBA Finals trips? 2. And both of them were with the Celtics. How? And then how could you, with a stacked crew in Orlando and a stacked crew with the Clippers, choke away 3-1 series leads? Now, one of them I loved. Not the 2003 first round series when he was a Magic head coach and the Pistons came from 3-1 down to beat them. I'm sorry, it was a little deja vu that happened 23 years later, right? Never mind. Don't answer that, Playmaker. The 2015 conference semifinals matchup between the Clippers and the Rockets. That one I love. Game 6, up 17, and the rest of the way. And then he decided to choke away a 3-2 series lead when he was a coach of the 76ers, having home court throughout the East, and lost to a Trae Young and a bag of chips Atlanta Hawks squad.
Before I take over, let me go ahead and get my brother in here.
Dre, I'll get you in a sec. But what I loved is Game 7 of that series where you had Ben Simmons, 6'10", post up Gallinari, who was 10 inches shorter, and the clown decided to pass. That, to me, is indicative of Glenn Rivers coaching. Now, what did Dre have to say? Sports Day with Dre Day, and we shout you out, sir. Thank you so much. He said the ladies were the only true Hall of Famers in this class. Mark Few and Joey Crawford did deserve. They deserved it. Whatever you think about Joey Crawford, and definitely Mark Few deserves it, because who knew of a college in Spokane, Washington, before Mark Few kept taking Gonzaga to NCAA tournament trips one after another? I can answer that question.
Back-to-back national championship appearances where they could have won either one.
Yeah, and then he ultimately back-to-back national championship appearances. I can help you with that answer. Keith Sweat, nobody. That's right. But
since my co-host wanted to sit here and do his best to bash Doc Rivers, but yet we have a coach here who has never sniffed the NBA Finals, never won the NBA Finals. At least Doc Rivers got to the NBA Finals and won it. Albeit, I don't care what you talking about Boston being stacked or not, he still got the job done, and he did against the Los Angeles Lakers at all teams. Mike D'Antoni. Or should I say Mike Antoni, because the D should be dropped from his name, because his team never played defense. Never played defense. Oh, and by the way, did Houston play defense?
D'Antoni, what are you talking about?
Did Mike D'Antoni Houston team play defense?
No. Pissed me off. Yeah, what did I say? What did I sometimes I think you didn't hear me. I said with D'Antoni, the D is optional.
No, what I'm saying is the most egregious one of all of them is Mike D'Antoni getting in.
No. The most egregious is actually Amadi Stoudemire, because Stoudemire owes his career to Nash and D'Antoni. Stoudemire didn't lift anybody up. So I'll give D'Antoni credit. I mean, he made Stoudemire a serviceable power forward, and he basically propelled Steve Nash to a Hall of Fame career. Of all the things you could say about D'Antoni, that is his biggest claims to fame, other than the fact that he decided to basically take what Don Nelson used to do on offense and put it on steroids, and just basically decided to put three-point shooting drills in NBA games. Outside of those things, that's all you can say about D'Antoni. Oh, he says, I'm talking about the play. Dre says, no, I'm talking about the players, Cole.
That's not how you put it. You did a Dejanay character.
But there's only one player. I mean, yeah, you can say Rivers played, but I mean, do we really talk about his playing career? Not all that much. He was decent in Atlanta. He was a bench player in New York. So, but Stoudemire definitely does not belong. And you were absolutely incorrect. The one who does not deserve the most to be in this Hall of Fame class is Amari Stoudemire. I get that Rivers is in because he won a chip with the anything is possible Celtics.
And then he got back there 2 years later, and then the Lakers got their revenge.
Yes, and 2 years later, he had to deal with Meta World Peace hitting a three in Game 7, and they were struggling to get points all throughout that series, and definitely all throughout Game 7.
After they beat somebody else the previous year, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, good Lord. Ooh, allergies. I'm sorry. But I'm pissed at D'Antoni even being mentioned in this, just from the standpoint of you all are co-signing on a man who really gave two craps about defense. Two craps. I'll make it even better. He gave two constipated craps about defense. And all this dude would do would be actually to me, I think he was begging his team, please shoot 30 threes in this game. We take 70 shots, make 30 of them three. I don't care if you miss all 30 of them. That's what pisses me off about D'Antoni.
I got you, Dre. I got you. I got you.
Dre says, look, Candace Parker, Elena Deladon, Shamiqua Osclaw, and the entire 1996 Women's USA team, only true Hall of Famers. There. I corrected it. With the laughing, rolling on the floor emoji and 2 salute emojis.
We know what he was doing. we gonna get you for that one. We gonna get you for that one. We gonna get you for that one. You know exactly what you was doing with that one.
Now, for those who are new to Dre, and it may be a bit of a troll, but he's not a troll. The statement may be a bit of a troll, but make no mistake, this dude knows his basketball. So, you know, he knows that Joy Crawford is like an NBA institution, and Mark Few definitely is an NCAA legend. So he knows that they belong. But he agrees with me, and Stoudemire, Rivers, and D'Antoni don't need to sniff the hall. Yeah. Don't need to sniff it. All 3 of them don't need to sniff it. And yes, those who probably are looking at this on replay or looking at this live, yes, I know it is not just the NBA that is figured in and factored in, or WNBA in the women's case, that's figured in and factored in to a basketball Hall of Fame candidate. It's all of what they've done in basketball, amateur, Olympic, and professional. Playmaker and people like Dre and I all get it. With that being said, no Stoudemire, no Rivers, no D'Antoni.
See, at least Doc can say he won a title.
Rivers and his title. Oh Lord. Snowman Multimedia, Snowman in the Morning. You can catch that show every day from 10 a.m. on. He said on the Snowman Multimedia YouTube channel, he says, use a troll. Again, I'm not saying that Dre is being a troll. And he's not a troll. I'm just saying the comment is troll-ish. He goes on, Snowman does, and says, Amari Stoudemire, Hall of Fame? Since when? And as I said, he got in on the strength of D'Antoni basically saying a big fella dunked 6 times off of 6 Steve Nash dimes. And we'll just run high screen and rolls until we're sick and blue in the face. Now, Dre says, look, I'm not trolling. I'm standing on all business. Joy Crawford in the front office, folks, yes, I agree. And I was like I said, you and I agree. I got that. You and I are on point with that.
We will never disagree with the ladies. We already know the ladies, yeah. Ladies,
So, Parker, Deladon, Holtzclaw, if you want my opinion, definitely with Parker and Holtzclaw, long overdue.
See, this wasn't about who was deserving. This was about who shouldn't be in it.
Shouldn't go down. Yeah.
This is what we're doing. We're talking about who shouldn't be in it.
Yeah. And you know, Dre, we here. Yeah, Candace and Shamiqua, long overdue. Long overdue. Long overdue.
Candace not long overdue. This was her first time being on the ballot.
This woman,
Shamika, that's a different story.
This woman was Hall of Fame worthy while she still was playing.
As a matter of fact, if you want to do that route, that means Deladon was long overdue because she retired before Candace Parker.
I would say it to gain. Candace Parker was Hall of Fame quality before she retired. And yes, Deladon definitely was going to get the bid. But people have been talking about Candace Parker being one of the best WNBA players of all time. Now, I'm not saying that Alea Deladon is chopped liver. She's not. She's one of the greatest women's players I've seen too. But I mean, people talk about Candace Parker almost in the same breath as the Cheryl Swoops, as the Cynthia Cooper, those types of players. I'm like, oh, she's that special. Before she retired, I'm like, oh, okay.
Hold on, I gotta answer this. See, matter of fact, you read it.
No, but before I'll say it and you can respond. Dre says you can't be remembered for your countless chokes in the playoffs more than your only ring 18 years ago.
My only thing is, at least Doc has that on his resume. Mike D'Antoni has nothing on his resume.
I agree. I disagree with 0 syllables in this statement. 0. I disagree with 0 syllables.
All I'm saying is, if you ask me, if we had to put one or the other in, I am choosing Doc Rivers over Mike D'Antoni. That's all I'm saying.
Now, I mean, you dropped the mic with that one, brother, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, the only big time thing positive you could say about Doc Rivers is he was the head coach of the 2008 Celtics team that was led to a championship by Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. Okay, fine. You could say with the rookie Rajon Rondo along with it as point guard.
That was before Rondo.
No, that was Rondo's rookie season.
That's all I'm saying. He agrees. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna put one of the two in, you put Doc Rivers in. Mike D'Antoni, what did he do?
Well, I told you what he did. He put a point guard in the Hall of Fame, and I don't know how people thought that Sotomayor was worthy of Hall of Fame, but now he could say he put a whack power forward in the Hall of Fame too.
In the same class with him.
Yeah, in the same class being when he's enshrined. So there's your claim. There's your claims to fame. He made Steve Nash Hall of Famer. He made Steve Nash Hall of Famer, and he actually put forth a whack power forward Hall of Famer. And Snowman says Doc Rivers, Hall of Fame. That's a lie.
He did that just so you can do that.
Of course he did. You know Snowman.
Oh yes.
Not that he disagrees with that. Snowman goes on and says, "What did Mike D'Antoni do? Nothing." Again, you all know. All I have to say is 27 straight threes missed in the 2018 Western Conference Finals.
You know what the NBA
that right
did?
There should have doomed D'Antoni from sniffing the Hall of Fame.
You know what? You know what the Basketball Hall of Fame did, and this is where Dre's comment comes in at. And this is me I'm taking a shot at the NFL too.
Dre says Amari's part of that community. That's why he got in.
The community of Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, that whole Phoenix team. And yet the Pro Football Hall of Fame can't do the same thing with the greatest show on turf.
But see, the thing is with that, the greatest show on turf won a chip and got to the ring, got to the dance to win another. What team of the Suns that was led by Mike D'Antoni, Amari Stoudemire, and Steve Nash went to the finals?
None.
Show me the team that was led by them that went to the finals. At least with the greatest show on turf, you got a Super Bowl trophy, and then 2 years later, you got within a field goal of another.
And yet, Torrey Holt can't get in the Hall of Fame. Just respect.
Now that's whack. That is whack. That right there is whack.
That's why I'm taking a shot at the NFL.
Yeah, he can't get into a Hall of Fame that he is more than deserving of getting into. But these jokers, Stoudemire, Rivers, and D'Antoni, all they have to do is just simply unzip their pants and have their schlongs measured, and they get into the hall? Please.
Basketball Hall of Fame, y'all. I hate y'all for this. And it makes me hate the Pro Football Hall of Fame too. Because Torrey Holt should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, at least they got Isaac Bruce there.
Yeah, Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner, Marshall Falk, and Orlando Pace. Yeah, I know.
I know you know them too, but I mean, just from the wide receiver category of that team. But yes, I agree. Torrey Holt deserves to be in the hall now. I agree, and that is and that is. What also is criminal is the fact you got Stoudemire, Rivers, and D'Antoni in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Bullshit. Woosah. Think of Dallas. Think of the middle fingers you can throw in Dallas, and you'll be happy. There we go. Perfect. Now, what else is on the docket for Around the Hardwood? Oh, I love that. Hardwood. I love that. Now, you have the Field of 68. They're announcing a mid-major marathon. It will take place November the 2nd. You have 16 mid-major programs that will be going at it with 8 games with those 16 teams.
Headline by Gonzaga, San Diego State, the names from the mid-majors. So, interesting start for the mid-majors this upcoming season.
Yeah. North Carolina men's basketball head coach Seth Trimble. No, I can't say that now. He's now the Louisville men's basketball head coach.
I can't wait to dive in that article. You read that one. That's gonna be interesting.
We'll touch on that a little later. The U, they've been extending some contracts. First, it was Mario Cristobal. Now it's Jai Lucas. He gets a 5-year extension and a raise after his successful first season with the U, or Miami University in Miami, Florida, or Coral Gables, Florida, if you're going to be technical. Then you have the commissioner of SEC, Mr. Sankey. He tells the SEC schools to follow eligibility rules. We will dive into that article too. And then you have the Unrivaled, the league that basically is considered a rival, and I put that with a question mark, of the WNBA. They Unrivaled signs college stars to NIL deals.
So before we dive into this, that's the simple fact that it started between. This whole thing started because of 2 players that are actually in the WNBA.
Yeah, one of them is Nafisa Collier. Yes,
WNBA, y'all should be ashamed of yourself, but you got players in your league that can do stuff better than you. Just don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
So you have players like Sarah Strong, Hannah Hidalgo, and Madison Booker, along with 6 others who will join that program and Unrivaled. And yes, it just shows the loose grip that the WNBA has on women's professional basketball. But yes, we will go first to Seth Trimble. He decided to take the powder. No, I'm not talking about cocaine. But he decided to leave Chapel Hill. And now he is headed to Louisville. The rivalry between Duke and North Carolina basketball got a little easier for the Blue Devils. Former 4-year UNC guard Seth Trimble, he's leaving the Tar Heels in favor of Louisville. Now, Trimble has already played 4 seasons at a collegiate level. A recent district court ruling in the state of Colorado opened the door for him to play a 5th year. Now, last season, Trimble was a pain in Duke's side, knocking down a game-winning 3 against them, handing them on their only 3 losses on the season. Now, during the year, Trimble averaged 14 points, 3.8 boards, 3 assists, and 1.3 steals, along with 0.2 blocks in 24 games. Now, assuming the court ruling holds up, the addition of Trimble continues an impressive offseason for the Cardinals, who also landed one of the top transfers available from Kansas, Flory Bidunga. Bidunga was defensive minutes last year with the Jayhawks. He averaged 13 points, 9 rebounds, an assist and a half, along with 0.7 steals and 2.6 blocks. Your thoughts on Mr. Trimble trading the Columbia Blue for the Cardinal Red?
I need to find out when does Louisville play North Carolina because I want to circle that game. Yeah, I want to circle that game.
Circle it if they're going to Chapel Hill.
So let me look this up. Does North Carolina Louisville? Where do they?
Yeah, circle it if they're going to Chapel Hill.
Because that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
New coaching style, homeboy say, you know what? I got a fifth eligibility. I'm taking my talent elsewhere. That's just wrong. You want to give Mike Malone a chance?
Too bad we can't get Cool's thoughts on this.
Well, we probably can get it later because I don't think they released a full schedule for the college basketball season because I'm looking for it, but I can't find it. Because I really want to know when they play each other and where.
You know how whack these schedules now with these big programs. They actually might not play, knowing how they will probably schedule it.
I mean, I
think they will.
They will. But I'm looking forward to this now. And let it be in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Even more better. And it should be telecast on ESPN, by the way.
Well, I think now it would be if they were hemming and hawing. I think they ain't going to hem and haw no more.
So yes, I'm throwing that out there for ESPN.
So, Mr. Trimble, you decided to leave the Tobacco Road area and you decided to go to the Bluegrass State. Decided to go to where Churchill Downs is more popular than whatever Louisville throws up in these days in basketball. Well, good luck to you, sir. I hope everything is fine. And yes, I'm with Playmaker. If Louisville plays North Carolina in Chapel Hill, I want to see that game. Now, staying in college basketball, or staying in college in general, Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, he says he wants everyone in the conference to move carefully when adding players suddenly allowed by court rulings to seek a fifth year of eligibility. I see what you did there, Playmaker. Sorry, I was having a producer moment with Playmaker on air.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. You know what I'm talking about. That's why you're laughing. Sankey sent a memo to league members on the landscape created by court filings and rulings being, quote, highly dynamic, close quote. A person familiar with the memo told Associated Press on condition of anonymity on Wednesday because of the volume of lawsuits, motions, and courts involved. The memo sent on Tuesday was first reported by CBS Sports. Now, Sankey reminded SEC members that they should operate under existing NCAA rules, interpretations, and applicable league rules until advised otherwise. He then told them, he told them each school's compliance should work with SEC staff before making any commitments on a player's eligibility. Sankey wrote, quote, recent court rulings should not be interpreted as creating broader eligibility relief beyond the scope of the applicable orders. In addition, the SEC eligibility rules, including those relating to intra-conference transfers, remain in effect until fully or individually waived or the rule is changed. Close quote. Now, central to that, Tennessee announced forward Jalen Washington signing on August 5th. The former Vanderbilt player was the lead plaintiff in a Tennessee Chancery Court, along with 18 given a temporary injunction to retain their eligibility on July 31st, hours before the federal judge issued the injunction in Colorado. Now, your thoughts on Sankey telling the schools, you see that eligibility rule, follow it.
I mean, it is a rule, so. But here's the funny part. The court system did a ruling, but the NCAA rule is still in effect. So what are we doing? And yes, I'm taking that from Deeds.
What are we doing? Sound like Joe Walsh. Here's what we're doing. We said this before. We're going to say it again. The NCAA has no balls.
Now, this is not me and him going at Greg Sankey because Greg Sankey is saying the right thing.
Do what the rules imply, and the commissioner is supposed to do that. So yeah.
Just because you got the courts that ruled this, make sure you still follow the guidelines, so there'll be no problems. Go through what you need to go through. Go through the right channels, the right protocols, all that, and go from there.
Yeah, because we don't need the government to come down on us, do we? See, then that's all he's thinking, which I understand. Now, the NCAA is appealing that preliminary injunction from a Colorado judge, giving that said student athlete who graduated from high school in 2022 a fifth-year eligibility for the upcoming year. So I think you're having Sankey, who in football had to deal with a few players, amongst one of them being former Heisman Trophy candidate Diego Pavia. So I think he's like, okay, I had my fill of that. I don't want to have any more because the legal quagmire is going to suck.
Who can blame?
So I get that. Yeah. I can't blame at all. Now you have.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Now you have Madison Booker, Hannah Hidalgo, Sarah Strong. Now, what do these three players have in common? Well, they're about to head to the WNBA, or are they? They will have NIL deals with Unrivaled for the second straight season as the 3-on-3 league continues to sponsor top college players. The trio, who, well, one started Texas, one started Notre Dame, one started UConn, respectively. They'll be joined by KK Arnold. That'll be Strong's teammate with the Huskies. Ohio State's Jelani Cambridge, South Carolina's Joyce Edwards, Michigan's Olivia Olson, and the pair from LSU are Jada Williams and Michaela Williams. General Manager Claire Dunwellius, she had this to say about the signings. Quote, "We're proud to continue investing in the future of women's basketball through our Future is Unrivaled initiative, and are thrilled to be working with this talented group of athletes. The excitement we've seen from these players to be part of this year's summit is deeply matched at the league level. We can't wait to welcome all 9 athletes to Miami and continue building meaningful relationships as they become part of the Unrivaled ecosystem." Close quote. It's the third year which Unrivaled has had NIL deals with college players. Now you have the WNBA rookies, Flau'jae Johnson, and of course, an MVP candidate, along with the runaway rookie of the year, in my opinion, Olivia Miles. They were part of the 2025 Unrivaled college class and have signed on to play with the organization this coming winter. Just because a player has a deal with the basketball league, it doesn't guarantee they'll join the group in Miami to play. Azzy Fudd opted to play for Project B this upcoming winter instead of Unrivaled, to prove that point. Your thoughts on, in my opinion, Unrivaled getting more of their hooks into what the WNBA is doing and probably gumming up their works just a little bit more. Talk to me. Well, while Playmaker is gone, I'll say it this way. See, Kathy Engelbert, this is why your funky behind shouldn't be on a golf course buried in a bunker trying to test to see how you can get out of bunkers with bunker shots and not explain why you are persona non grata to Dan Patrick, dodging interview after interview, because this is your fault. Yes, I'm looking at you. You're supposed to have the best interest of the players. Now, we already have now a Hall of Famer in Aletta Deladon who basically said, that chick didn't say crap to me about when I retired. Didn't say a thing. Was quiet as a church mouse. So just from that alone, the players don't seem to like you. And then, of course, we got a chance to see one of the two founders of Unrivaled, Nafisa Collier, who is also part of the labor union of the WNBA. She basically said, you can't trust this heifer. Because I don't think she has the best interest of the players. She could give two craps about the players. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to form our own league over here, and we're going to show that we do care about the players. And having NIL deals being inked is a smart way to leverage the league and having the league be even more powerful than it could be, because they don't have to come up with the funding for the players by themselves. It doesn't have to, the bill doesn't have to be foot with the league. You know, it can the league can ease off of having to throw a whole ton of money toward the players and saying, well, yeah, we got the WNBA that's going on in the spring and the summer. In the winter and the early spring, you can get your work on with Unrivaled. It makes being an Unrivaled a little more intriguing. Unfortunately, what is going to have to happen is one of these two leagues are going to have to take the other over, and they're going to have to have a league where you're going to have basketball that basically will, in the length of time, they will run concurrent with the NBA. You know, they'll run concurrent with the NBA. I'm thinking that's what's going to possibly happen. You're going to have that in the mix, because this, having Unrivaled over here, leveraging their point with having NIL deals, and the WNBA doing what they do, unfortunately, something's going to come to a head. And either Unrivaled has to gobble up the WNBA, or the WNBA is going to have to gobble up Unrivaled. But more than likely, we will have a more elongated women's professional basketball season. Eventually. We're not there yet, because unfortunately you have I'm trying to be nice. You have an idiot who's the commissioner of the league. You have a stone cold idiot. And because of that stone cold idiot is why you have this. So once that stone cold idiot is gone from commissionership of the WNBA, look for the WNBA and Unrivaled to find some sort of partnership where they can work in tandem with one another. But until then, this is messy. Your thoughts on Unrivaled deciding to go NIL with these players?
I think you summed it up very perfectly. Because when Breonna Stewart and Afisa Carr came up with this idea, it wasn't not to compete with the WNBA, but to help the WNBA out, having their players no longer have to go overseas to make ends meet.
Because that's exactly what they had to do. Right.
And the WNBA, being the WNBA, saw it as a threat. And I said, all right, you talking about two smart women in Breonna Stewart and Afisa Collier.
Correct.
So guess what? And matter of fact, Afisa Collier's husband is the one that's running the business while Afisa Collier and Breonna Stewart do what they do best, play ball. Until it's time for them to take their rightful roles and be the leads of Unrivaled. But the WNBA, this is your fault.
Yep.
Unrivaled wanted to come in and issuing a way for your players to stay in the country and use that as a launching point to get ready for the season. And through 2 seasons, Unrivaled has been successful. Matter of fact, how many people really paid attention to Maureen Marbury before she went to Unrivaled? Now what she's doing with Toronto, Cole?
Well, she's the only reason why we're talking about the Toronto Tempo, really. I mean, Chick is one of the best scorers in the game. So, I mean, this just shows that you're dealing with some savvy individuals. And yes, and that's what pisses me off about this, Playmaker, is what you said. You got WNBA players who saw this and said, you know, having to supplement our income by going to Europe, going to Asia, going to Russia. And part of it, of course, is to circumvent what happened with Brittany Griner. You know, going from here to there and possibly becoming legally entangled for whatever reason. And not just her, those other players who also got legally entangled too for similar reasons. This was supposed to circumvent all of that. This was supposed to help these players. But as I said, and I take no syllable back, Kathy Engelbert, you are an absolute idiot. Because this did not have to happen. You could have helped the WNBA strengthen its position and brand. And you had Collier and Stewart wanting to help you do that. No. You were like, I ain't seeing this. I'm not hearing this. I'm not addressing this. And now you're going to put the WNBA in a position one day where they're going to have to come off of some mighty hard cheddar to have Unrivaled be alongside them. Congratulations. Jeez. Dre says, look, I say Ray Burrell, Marina Marbury, and Shakira Austin, they were going to have breakout years because of what they did in Unrivaled. And I'm glad they proved my point. You only get better.
Ray Burrell almost brought the Sparks back to beat the Liberty. And
yeah, you only get better. We
already talked about Maria Marbury, and like y'all heard us talk about the Mystics for how many times this season, Cole?
We've almost talked about them every week at some point. And we've been saying, yeah, that team's on the come up. And now we're seeing why. But yeah, now the WNBA, or I should say, WNBA, because unfortunately Kathy Engelbert represents them. They're now put in a position where they're going to have to come off with some money to buy out Unrivaled eventually down the line. If they want to basically say, this 44 game season, plus we also want to move the season a little bit closer to the summer.
Yeah, because you're going to 50.
Yeah. So I think we would love to actually start this in the winter or even the late fall. I think that'd be great. Unrivaled is the perfect candidate for you, and you would have had that if you didn't, Miss Engelbert, want to make rivals out of Collier and Stewart. But you did, and now your bosses are going to hate you because they're going to have to pay and pay through the nose for what I believe they want to have happen. Now, let's talk WNBA first. You have Diana Taurasi. She hopes to actually go from the court to the boardroom and the luxury boxes. They say that she would like to be part of the ownership of the Phoenix Mercury. And, well, Matt Isbia, who owns both the Suns and the Mercury, since you're about making sure that all things in Phoenix are glorious, yeah, you should carve out some type of percentage for Taurasi to join the ownership group. That would be a great move for you. And to the NBA, Trey Mann, he goes from the Hornets to the Cavaliers for that big dummy. $84 million. You turn it down. I'm sorry, my bad. Professionalism. Dennis Schroeder.
Stay current.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll stay current. Luka Doncic called you out for doing that bull crap.
Hey, he did do that. He did do that. And I couldn't blame Luka for doing it either.
I don't either. In fact, I applauded him. I'm like,
in a Lakers uniform, by the way.
And Doncic was wearing a Lakers uniform, calling Schroeder out. So Schroeder is no longer a Cav. He's a Hornet. He probably is joining the 11th or 12th NBA team that in his career. And Trey Mann now will be a Cavalier. Your thoughts on Taurasi wanting to join Mercury ownership and Dennis Schroeder being even more of a nomad than he's already been?
Diana Taurasi, go for it. Get your own. I'm pretty sure Matt Eastwood will. He will help in this process, but I know it's a process, and him alone can just put Diana Taurasi in ownership. If he could, he would.
He alone can't, but he has the biggest influence. That's
no. What I'm saying is, if he actually could, he would, and I'm pretty sure. And if you governors,
owners,
I'll wait for you to do that.
I knew you were. That's why I did it.
If y'all got any sort of brains left, Diana Taurasi is like a no-brainer to be part of the ownership. I mean, like, let's be for real. Schroeder going to Charlotte, Trey Mann going to Cleveland. Cole, you'll like this.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares?
Yes. In fact, it was more entertaining for me to talk about the fact that Schroeder turned down an $84 million deal to forever now become an NBA journeyman than for this trade to be announced. Oh, and the fact that Luka Doncic talked trash toward him on the court. Son, how you turn down an $84 million deal that the Lakers give you? Woo! You should have fired your representation right then and there. Oh my gosh.
But
Sports Waiver Trade Day podcast, he says, "We need to see it," with the salute emoji and a rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
But everybody coming for your catchphrases now.
We need to see it.
When Dre is doing your catchphrases, there's something going on here. And by the way, those of you trying to figure it out, you're talking about when we talk about the unrivaled story.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what personally, bro, I think that's what we are going to see. A longer WNBA season, and have it be pushed more toward they start in the winter and they end in the summer. I think that's what it's going to have to happen. But the WNBA
that'll be smarter, because now you don't have to worry about your new incoming draft class going straight to work.
Yeah, straight out of college, and they have to the very next month, if you're fortunate and you went all the way to the Final Four, play in the WNBA. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. But Kathy Engelbert will cost the WNBA in having that happen, because of how inept she is as a commissioner.
Hey, like somebody else said, we just two guys with opinions. What do we know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sometimes it's not even about the jerseys. It's the hat that sets it off. Snapbacks, fitties, truckers, whatever your style is, that's how you rep your team every day. If you're looking to upgrade your collection or find your next go-to cap, we got you covered. Hit the link in the description and shop the latest styles right now through Liz. Every team, every style, every day. Top off your fit the right way.
The Big Ten.
You can say you're not impressed. You can say you're not happy. You can say all these things, but no, whatever the case may be, the Buckeyes are on top of the football world. And it's just where it is.
The SEC.
But I blame one person for this. One person?
What one person are you going to be blaming? Good. I don't give a crap.
Big 12.
That team right there that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
The ACC.
Quote, feeling the blues in Death Valley, close quote. Duke ends a 45-year drought in Clemson. You are coaching a team, son. Get with the program and worry about your program.
The CLP rankings, do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it.
Bring down the gridiron on the Playmakerz Network YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts.
Your best work starts with the right environment. Whether you're working from home, managing a business, creating content, study for class, or gaming with friends, the right setup can make all the difference. From premium office chairs to modern desks and workspace essentials, Odin Lake helps you create a setup that works as hard as you do. Work smarter, stay comfortable, perform at your best. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmaker Network.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life-holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shooting Lights out here on this Monday, August 17, 2026. It's funny that I played that Bird on a Gridiron episode. Oh, Wednesday's gonna be one of them shows.
The SEC will be on tap for bearing down the gridiron this Wednesday.
Which
And there's
means
many.
Which means Cole Johnson gonna have to talk about the Longhorns, and I have to talk about the Florida Gators.
You have to talk about the Florida Gators. This will probably be the league that I think we know it the best, and I think the conference that we know it the best, and we have the most personal vested interest in. If we're going to be fair, but we know the sport very well inside and out. But yeah, there's many topics such as will Florida bounce back from the smiling jackass? Will Texas actually have a Heisman Trophy winner in Arch Manning? Will Tennessee actually break through and beat teams like Alabama and Georgia en route to the playoff? And can Georgia be usurped as the top dog? Saw what I did there in the SEC. And can they actually solve the problem of the Crimson Tide being their kryptonite?
They did in the SEC championship game.
Well, yeah, they did. All those questions will be answered and then some on this Wednesday's edition of Bearing Down the Gridiron, where we will break down all things that happened last year in the SEC and look ahead to what's going to take place in this year's SEC.
But that's Wednesday. We're still on Monday. And I gotta say, man, this weekend was a pretty good weekend in the WNBA.
It was a competitive one.
And I ain't have to do it no drama. This is the type of weekend that I like WNBA. So let's run the fast break.
That this guy has shown. Let me shut up. James off the steal. James with the stop.
Rebound by Adams, who's sixth. Morant goes by Primo. Attack.
You know, every time I look at that, I have to ask myself, how did I come up with this?
You mean the graphic itself?
No, I mean like the intro.
Oh, well, that's great. Although now the gunslinger will now be doing that for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, but I'm keeping that one right there.
Oh, it's a funky dunk, no question about that.
And it kind of it solidifies a fast break.
Mm-hmm.
He caught it made one move, and then it was catching a body.
Mm-hmm. I just hope he does that more of that when he gets to Portland.
But to the weekend that was in the WNBA, and I had a hard choice to make, Cole Johnson.
Yeah, you did.
It was one game on top. I was like, yep. You would think obvious. You would think obvious, but Mr. Johnson know how I think. I got to see everything play out.
Yeah, you want to go left all the time.
Well, you said I went left again because
he's going left. Actually, no, this is the game I thought you were going to pick. This was the game I thought you were going to pick. This happened last night. The Fever and the Dream, of course. You casual WNBA fans, take out your slong and stroke it. This is the game between Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
Yeah.
But the reason why this game was chosen was that, well, for a couple of reasons.
No, they went in overtime.
Yeah. One, it went in overtime, and the other, poor Aja Reese. She had the ability to put a putback in off of an air ball that came right into her hands, and it went in and out of the rim.
That's why this man knows me. He knew that one was going to sting.
Mm-hmm. And of course, now you see memes all over the place with Reese huffing in the air, like, and right behind her, Caitlin Clark.
That's that you don't effed up. Mm-hmm. That's what you don't effed up now. Mm-hmm. You didn't end it. We will.
So it was 81-81 when that happened. The final score was 95-91. The Fever beat the Dream in overtime.
A much needed win for the Fever. Because they would have lost to the Dream. That's 3-1 Dream way. Now it's 2-2. So meaning if somehow they ended up tied, it'll be an interesting way of seeing how the WNBA gonna go get who's gonna get this tiebreaker. Yeah, and right now, well, I'm gonna say that we gonna get to the standings in a minute. Why that's very important.
Okay, so for the winning Fever, you have Aaliyah Boston with 18 points, 14 boards, and she was busy on the defensive end with 5 steals. And
I don't know what was going on with the Dream. Like, why they kept trying to throw the ball over her.
And for the losing Dream, I feel for Alicia Gray. 32 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and the aforementioned air ball I mentioned. Fever, give them credit. They overcame a 10-point deficit to force the overtime and stun the Dream in Atlanta. Caitlin Clark, she went for 26-9 in the game, along with the 18-14 from Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell also stepped up as well. She kept a 20-point streak alive. Makaya Timpson also went for 20-7. And the Fever just outlasted the Dream. The Dream seemed to run out of gas just at the last minute, and the Fever took advantage of it.
If we didn't go into overtime, Kelsey Mitchell would now kept that 20-point streak alive, which is at 19 right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
so the
19
fact
straight games.
19 straight games with 20 points, the longest single season record.
Yeah,
the longest record belongs to Aja with over a 2-year span. And Michaela Timpson had a game of her career, 20-7. But it took Caitlin Clark, was it 26-9, Aaliyah Boston 18-14, Kelsey getting 20 again, and Michaela Timpson 20-7 to beat a Dream team. Here's the interesting part, Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who didn't play for the Dream? Brianna Jones was not in the lineup. Joy Kenda was not in the lineup.
Hope they're all right.
So I just want y'all to keep that in mind if these two was to meet in the playoffs, and Atlanta is at full strength. Just throwing that out there. Because it could have been 3-1 Dream. But should have been bad for Indiana. But it's 2-2. That was yesterday. The rest of the top 3 games from the weekend.
All right, on Friday, we have the Fever making me happy, which is rare for me to say. But they made me happy on Friday. They beat the Wings by the score of 98-87. Caitlin Clark on continuing her tear, giving you 29-10. She outdo Paige Beckers with 29 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in the Fever's W over the Wings. That's Friday. On Saturday, we have the Lynx beating the Aces again.
Runner? Until yesterday.
The Lynx beating the Aces again, this time in Las Vegas. And it was a greatly contested game. 92-87 was the final score. Olivia Miles, who right now is my favorite player in the WNBA. She's the runaway rookie of the year. And she is nipping at the heels of being this year's MVP as well. 26-8. She outdueled the greatest player in the game right now in A'ja Wilson. 32 points and 7 assists. But The Aces have to find a way to take down the Lynx, and it looks like it's becoming a more difficult task by the game for them. So, yes, that was Saturday. Yesterday, you had the Portland Fire beating the Mercury in Phoenix. Wow. 88-85. Carla Lady, she went for 23-5 as the Fire spoiled Diana Taurasi's night, or Diana Taurasi night, I should say, in Phoenix. Wow. So the Mercury couldn't give Diana a dub.
Retired her jersey.
Retired her jersey and got and had to take an upset L to the expansion Fire. Wow.
To an expansion team.
And that was Sunday. So, yes, the Fever beat the Wings on Friday, 98-87 on Friday. On Saturday, you had the Aces go down at home to the Lynx, 92-87. And on Sunday, you had the Mercury on Diana Taurasi night disappoint Diana with an 88-85 loss to the Portland Fire.
And then the rest from the weekend.
Also on Friday, you had the Fire go on a tear. They beat the Mercury. Before then, they beat the Storm. Burning the Storm out. On Saturday, you have the Mystics. They beat the Sparks. They're still showing that they are a team on the rise. And I love the New York Liberty. I love them. They beat the Sun.
You can love them now.
Not to be confused with the Suns, but the Liberty beat the Sun.
But I have my issues.
What? Never mind.
But I'm gonna save it for another. I'm gonna save it for a later show.
You should have no issues because they took down a team that deserved to take an L.
It ain't about your team. It's about mine.
And on Sunday, you had the sky rain down on the Storm. And
for those of you do not get confused, the Connecticut Sun is not Cole Johnson's team. What they become next year makes them Cole Johnson's team.
That's right. But what's pissing me off, the Storm is effing up. Win! Yeah, no business losing to the Fire.
Speaking of which, the standings.
And we get to the beautiful beam footage.
So we'll get to the top 8. We'll get to the top 8 in a minute. You see the two teams down here at the bottom that are eliminated? This is the problem Cole Johnson has.
The Storm and the Sun are eliminated from playoff competition.
So the Storm has played.
I'm seeing too few losses with the Sun.
Hold on.
Too few.
Can you wait, sir?
Fine. Go ahead.
So the Storm has played 37 games, which means they have 7 more to go. The Connecticut Sun, they have played, what is that? Is that 8 and 25? So that'll be what? 33? 33. So they have a couple more games to go.
So the Sun have played 4 less games than the Storm.
And Cole Johnson, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I see a 3-game difference between the Sun and the Storm.
I'm pissed off.
And the season's coming down the home stretch, sir. So it's looking like
he's gonna get the
number one agenda for Cole Johnson might be a scratch through.
Sucks.
And the bad part about it is you're only 2 games behind the Toronto Tempo.
Don't remind me.
As they like to call it, Cole Johnson's in a quagmire.
See, the fact that you finding joy out of this is pissing me off all the more.
Because you want to be bold and loud about the whole goddamn thing to begin with.
You doggone right. Let's start
bold and loud.
Let's start the best franchise in WNBA history off right for their second launch. Started right.
Yeah, they starting it right, all right. Losing the franchise.
Well, they're gonna be a losing franchise. That's the only reason why they're moving.
You want to make it worse.
No, I want to be like, this is as far as you can go at the bottom. You can't get no voice.
Well, see how to say hold my wine.
Mm-hmm. Pissing me all the way off. Lose, Storm. I'm sorry. Win, Storm. Win.
I know you was right the first time lose, Storm, because that's all they doing is losing.
Hush your mouth. Win, Storm.
All they do is lose no matter what.
Yeah, they keep on winning. My middle finger goes up. And it stay
there. Now, that's the bottom part of this the standings. Let's get to the real part.
You enjoyed that a little too much.
Damn right, because I told you not to be so bold, but you didn't want to listen to me. That's what you get.
What you say?
I told you, let the team play and let things work out the way it's supposed to work out. But no.
Well, I should say the same with you and your Liberty.
I am letting it work out. Have you heard me do a flagrant foul on them? Have you heard me go off on a coach? No, that's Dre. That's what Dre does. I haven't joined Dre on that yet, but it's getting there.
But you went off on the team earlier this year, though.
Oh, I had it right. That was a losing streak.
That's what I'm saying. You went off on the team already. Don't act like you're like, I'm just waiting until we get to a point, basically the playoffs.
Did I not focus on the losing streak? You focus on the whole season when the season started. You went from 0 to 100 as soon as tip-off happened. Now tell me I'm lying.
But yes, you could say I only criticize it for the streak. You criticize their Liberty this year.
I did. I criticized them when they needed. It was a streak.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you are not I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may, no matter how well they do, no matter how bad they do.
Oh, I am letting chips fall. I am letting chips fall where they may, and I will say what I need to say when I need to say it. Remember, this is the same guy. This is the same guy who wanted me to do another flagrant foul on the New York Liberty.
You doggone right.
And I haven't done it yet.
Because you keep saying, "Oh, I got to say about the Liberty." I got almost every week. You got something salty to say about the Liberty, but you hold your tongue. Yes, like you in church.
I'll hold my tongue because this ain't the time.
This ain't the time. It's always the time.
And as you can see, they are in the 6th spot right now.
Did you think that they were going to compete for a home court advantage in the first round? Yes. So I know you're not happy.
Oh, I'm not. But I can say this. These most likely are your 8 teams that's going to be in the playoffs. Which includes Dallas.
But come on, Mystics. I want you to keep the Wings at the 8th spot because I want Olivia Miles to cook the Wings in the first round. Cook them. And then Nafisa she could be the cherry on the sundae. When the Wings get clipped and flown out. And it'd be great if it's a sweep, happen in Dallas. That'd be wonderful. That'd be great. Thank you, Playmaker. You made my day just for that. Just from that. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
The New York Liberty sit in the 6th spot and currently have a matchup with their rivals.
That is interesting. The fact that we might see the Liberty and the Aces hook up the first round. Might.
If you want to know there's some this thing coming from me, here it is. But I can't say nothing yet. Because there's still games to go. And between the Fever and the Dream and New York, these three could be intertwined in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
The only two teams have clinch spots right now are the Aces and the Lynx. But I have a feeling by the time midnight hits tonight, another team will clinch. But I'll let you on that later.
We can talk about all the other crap we want. How your Liberty is disappointing you. How the Wings have gone from first to being in the playoffs, possibly. How the Dream, how we can probably get the Dream and the Fever to match up in the first round. But show of hands, who thought the Valkyries would be the number 2 seed the second year of its franchise's existence? Not a soul. But it's like we said in this program. Defense wins championships, and they ain't the team better in the WNBA that plays defense as a team than the Valkyries.
Well, for some reason they can't solve the Aces and the Lynx, so they do have their kryptonites.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise they'd be the number 1 seed. But yeah,
that's the NBA standards of where we stand at currently as we go down the home stretch of the regular season, going into the World Cup break, and then the playoffs. That's a lot of basketball for these ladies. That's a lot of basketball. Now that I broke it down like that.
In the next 2 months, that is a lot of basketball.
You got to go play in Germany and then come back, and then before you know it, you in playoff mode.
Yeah, I was about to say, as soon as your feet touch back down here, yeah, you're in the playoffs or close to it.
Whew. That's the fast break.
That this guy has shown. Let me shut up. James off the steal. James with the stop.
Rebound by Adams, his 6th. Morant blows by Primo. Attack.
All right, commercial break here, and we got to discuss something that's involving the WNBA as a whole.
The game is about to start. The last thing you should be worrying about is what's for dinner. With Cook Unity, chef-crafted meals are ready to enjoy in minutes. Great food, less hassle, more game time. Cook Unity, available through the Playmakerz network.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Football season is almost here. Whether you're heading to the stadium or watching from home or representing your team every day, NFL Shop has the gear fans need. Shop official jerseys, sideline apparel, hats, collectibles, and the latest merchandise from across the NFL. Get game day ready and support Ramley Talk when you shop through our NFL Shop affiliate link. NFL Shop, official merchandise, official fan gear. Horns up.
Rams fans all around the world,
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back.
lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked. NFL Underground, if number 99 says I'm coming back for one more year.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
All right, and welcome back to Shooting Lights Out here, your weekly deep dive into Who's Culture. Couple of things before we get to our discussion, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Earlier today, the NBA found no evidence on Clippers owner Steve Ballmer of funnering money through team sponsorship to Kawhi Leonard. So Steve Ballmer is in the clear.
Ballmer, you're lucky, son. You still suspect, but you're lucky.
That's part one. Ready for part two?
Mm-hmm.
The Buss family has sold the remaining 17.8% stake in the Lakers to new majority owner Josh Kushner and Bob Iger.
Oh, boy. Say those names again.
Bob Iger and Josh Kushner.
Okay, I'm not gonna derail your show.
No more Buss in the NBA.
Yeah, I was about to say the Buss family no longer owns the Lakers, and that has now been for the first time in 47, 48 years. Wow. So all the Buss family is like, peace out. We gone. Wow.
LeBron left, re-out. That's like what it looks like.
So the owner of Disney and Donald Trump's son-in-law now owns the Lakers. Lord have mercy.
What the worst can go wrong? Nothing for me.
Yeah, you say that now.
Hey, it's the team I dislike the most. So if those two burn down the Lakers, I will not be mad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that'd be helping you out. You in the West.
Yeah, brother.
But I know why you feel that way, though.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to dive into that because they just got ownership. They haven't done nothing yet.
No, we're not.
Keyword yet.
But
what we will be talking about is the WNBA.
Thank the Lord. So, now, here is the question that we have posed earlier today. We're going to have a little discussion now.
Hold on.
Now,
wait a minute. Hold on, before you continue. Where you at? There you go.
Now, we asked this question earlier, and if you didn't catch it, here it is again. The episode question of the day: has the increased scrutiny surrounding the WNBA been good or bad for the league's growth? And if you didn't hear it the first time, we want to see that answer underneath the description box below if you're watching on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. And again, if you haven't done it already, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. What direction should I go in?
You have the article. I just have the pictures.
It's just I'm at a loss from the standpoint of I don't know how I want to really attack this.
WNBA is on the microscope, which is true. Is the
Yeah,
scrutiny the price of success? Because the growth of the league, you got more attention. Everywhere you turn, there's some type of criticism taking over the league and not the play on the court. Except for this past weekend, for once.
But the thing is, I hate to say it like this. Normally, when any type of business gets this type of scrutiny, it normally is a good thing because it means that there's more attention brought to the league in this case or the company. There is more there's more writing on the moves that are being made, and it normally means that the level of play in this case has increased. Otherwise, people really wouldn't care about the WNBA at all.
Which brings me to one of our favorite coaches. No, she does not coach in the WNBA. She does coach in a sport that we do love, though.
Yes, that would be one Dawn Staley. Now,
this quote here is just the big quote from the entire quote. I'm gonna show you the entire quote here, though, on the next slide.
Yeah. Now, during the weekend and the Hall of Fame weekend, the WNBA received some attention, and this question was posed. Just thinking about it, with the league's greatest icons being enshrined. Now, the ongoing vitriol centered on race, gender, and sexuality, which is making for headlines daily and making Playmaker's head hurt. The controversy is also being a part of an undertone of how the WNBA is being covered. And, of course, the physicality of the league and the fouls that are being called or not called that has come into play with the women's evolution. All of that has somewhat overshadowed the impressive play, which has been seen in its 30th year of the WNBA, which gets us to the Hall of Famer. And yes, we do have to call her that. The Hall of Famer, Dawn Staley, because she's getting inducted yet again. And congratulations to you on receiving another honor in the Hall of Fame, Dawn. Now, she was posed this question, and she said that there's some similar parallels between what the WNBA is going through and what the NBA experienced back in the 70s and 80s. Quote, all the big pieces and all the things that are happening from a racial standpoint, from an officiating standpoint, are great. They're great because the NBA went through it. The NBA went through all of it. So this is just badges of honor. Will we get through it? We'll get through it. Close quote. I love the badges of honor point. Now, for those who aren't aware of the NBA's history, Dawn's aware of it because she's maybe like a couple of years older than I am. So we're in around the same generation. So she saw what I saw. She saw a league in the 70s that was controversial and maligned for a lot of stuff, and it was marred by black versus white, and not just skin color, but by play, by style of play. If you were, if you're white, you basically were, team oriented. If you were black, you played playground style, or and one if you're younger.
Street
And
ball.
so or street ball. So you had that dynamic in the 70s, along with an amphetamines run, where it almost marred the league to the point where we would not be talking about the NBA. Teams were ready to fold. The league was ready to go belly up.
Was that around the time Ruckus Park became Ruckus Park?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Was that around the time when Ruckus Park they started becoming Ruckus Park up in New York?
No, Rucker Park was big before then. But you had Dr. J, who actually is a New Yorker. He basically would sell out Rucker Park. You had people watching from the rooftops of projects and on tree branches, watching him play, and we're talking like late 60s, early to mid 70s. So Rucker Park was Rucker Park before the downturn of the NBA. But also, and we're seeing it now, what helped the league actually turn the corner? Race. Yeah. You had the Celtics with Larry Bird. You had the Lakers with Magic Johnson. They matched up in the national championship game in 1979. They got drafted. A couple of months later to their respective teams, and in a couple of years, each of them took turns winning a championship, but the league just wasn't all the way happy with how the product was coming. And so the league bet up with CBS, and they said, all right, let's do this. And this started in 1983. So yeah, let's do this. Let's televise on Sunday 2 games. And in the 12 o'clock spot would be the Celtics. The 2:30 spot will be the Lakers. So we'll get a chance to see Bird and Magic every single Sunday unless they matched up against each other. And so you got to understand this league, the NBA, and this is the advantage the WNBA has. Playoff games, even the finals, were tape delayed. I'll say that again. The playoffs and the finals were tape delayed. It meant that you had to wait until your 10, in my case, since I live in Houston, o'clock news, or in Playmaker's case, the 11 o'clock news went off the air. And you wouldn't be able to see anything NBA worthy on CBS until 10:35 or 11:35 Eastern. 10:35 Central, 11:35 Eastern. That was how it was rolling. And it rolled even when Bird and Magic were in the league. They stopped that in 1983. Then the very next year, you had the Lakers and the Celtics meet up in the NBA Finals, or the NBA Championship Series, as that's what it was called then. And to this day, Game 7 is the most watched NBA game of all time. To this day, 42 years later, to this day, the most watched game the NBA has ever produced in the history of its league. And they haven't been able to look back ever since. They took off then, and it was, more success with Magic and Bird, then Jordan, then the Showtime Lakers, then LeBron, then Steph. And the league didn't have any money issues then. But there was a time where the NBA was almost no more. And so to bring the conversation, the breadth and the depth necessary, when Dawn Staley was mentioning, the NBA went through all of those bumps, the racial, the officiating, because there were even some, and we've had this happen as recently as a few years ago. Referees on the take, referees being biased. So you had that then there as well. But to Dawn's bigger point, and this is what I think she was trying to say to the WNBA, motivational to the players, obviously, is that, yeah, you're going to run into some hiccups because more eyes are going to be on you. More scrutiny is going to be in your direction because you're still going to have these fans who's going to look at the product and say, I don't want to watch this because these girls don't dunk. Just some stupid crap like that. Just bypass the more fundamentally sound game that the women just play through osmosis. I mean, they are more fundamentally sound than the men are. And that there is no debate. And I have seen the NBA ever since I was 7 years of age. The brand of basketball the women play are far more fundamentally sound than the brand the men play. The men, they rely on the athleticism. And yes, there's athleticism with the WNBA and with the women's game, but you could tell fundamentals is where they live and breathe. So
what's fundamentals? What is that? What's fundamentals?
You know, fundamentals like making the extra pass, like taking advantage of the shot clock, like making sure the open woman in this case gets fed the ball, like post play, which that is almost a non-existent theme in the NBA. You still have that in the WNBA, and you still have it in the college game too. You have where threes are not being taken every other shot. There actually is something called a mid-range game on offense. And there is team defense that for the most part is embraced.
Golden State Packers?
Yeah. A team that if you score 70 points, you better throw a party. All of those pieces come together, and the NBA didn't have that back when they were going through their doldrums and abysmal play. Yeah, you had great defenders, and yeah, you had great defensive teams, but it was the athleticism that really was getting them through, and the style of play that the WNBA does play. You had a little bit more of that in the NBA, and you had a lot of people checking out of the game. And I'm talking about players, I mean stands. People watching the game just straight up checked out because it just wasn't entertaining enough. And that game needed to have above the rim play. They needed to have no-look passes. They needed to have faster break plays because they were competing with games like football and basketball and hockey that if the NBA isn't running as fast as they could, well, that game would be even more boring than hockey, basketball, hockey, baseball, and football. But having a team like the Showtime Lakers, well, problem solved. The thing is, the NBA actually is profiting now, and they're getting the scrutiny. When Magic and Bird were coming to the league, the money was just being poured. There was some sort of sieve. They were leaking money. It was just draining. Stands, people in stands weren't watching the game. People weren't watching the game on TV, and it just wasn't a good product at all to watch. And I remember it when I was young. It just wasn't a good product to watch. Hence why you need to have the ABA. And this is also something you need to take heed of in WNBA. You need to have the ABA infuse itself into the NBA to make the game more exciting. Like the dunk contest, like a 3-point line, like playing above the rim. Other than, players like Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, who had the height to play above the rim, most didn't. So you don't need that in the WNBA because people are coming in to see the brand they play now. And I love seeing that. Now, what the NBA had to deal with was who could play in the league. In the 40s, it was an all-white league. And they didn't want to integrate. It was a hardcore resistance to do so. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can take Bill Russell's word for it when he was amassing championship after championship in Boston. And he said that Boston Garden was half filled during the finals. But a team that struggled mightily like the Bruins to win a Stanley Cup, the Boston Garden was sold out. Why? Because the hockey players were all white. And there was just a little bit too much blackness on the Celtics. He said, dealing with, racism with the fans, the city government, the people who were there, and the media that was there. It was a wonderful experience for him. And that came from the late, great Bill Russell, who should be considered one of the greatest icons in Celtics history, let alone the NBA history. But he's not. And you want to know what it led to? It led to him performing a retirement jersey ceremony with an empty stadium at his request. So that's the stench racism had on the NBA, and it was that pervasive. And so they needed a guy who was happy-go-lucky and smart and bubbly and effervescent, like a Magic Johnson, who also so happened to be black, so that people can rally around him, black and white, and say, I like him. And you still had people who wanted to rally around Bird too, because he's just one well of a player. Now, these polarizing views on these kinds of matters, to the Playmakerz' chagrin, it has become more and more topic du jour. WNBA players have commented on it. The union president, Nneka Ogwumike. Now, she said that she feels awful for the transgender fan who have supported the league for so many years. She said, quote, "It breaks my heart to think about how these conversations may be affecting people who have supported us for so long." Close quote. Now, she went on to say that WNBA players, they have used their platform to engage in social political discussions, but she believes that there's an underlying agenda off the court with the questions that the media asks, which I fully agree with that. She said, quote, "It's super unfortunate because we're now in a time where I think there's a lot of different agendas being used for something perhaps bigger and broader that people can't see now, that they're using women's sports for. It's very concerning. But what I really do hate is that we are using a very nuanced conversation, an evolving conversation, to continue to marginalize these groups that we advocate for." Close quote. And I think what Nneka is wise enough to understand is, I think, what people at large are not. There is a balance that mainstream media has, and the players have to see, and social media. And it's now almost getting to the point where people are, and I'm saying this being a member of the news and national media, being a member of one of the biggest in national media in the United States. People are actually thinking that they're now blending one in the same. And I can tell you that it's not, but people are going to think they're married still. She went on to say about that part, quote, even something as simple as you guys asking actual basketball questions, I think it's very helpful. I think it's a very delicate line for me, because it's like, okay, you know, we want to act like your job is to cover this game, and our job as athletes is to play it and to also give you what we can. But then it's also like, do I want to seem insensitive by not talking about the things that are going on? Close quote. And that is the danger that these players run into. And I think that's the issue that those like Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark have run into. Not because they're white, but because they actually are vocalizing what they feel. And you're having people say definitely with Sophie's, in Sophie's case, well, you just don't feel for the transgender person. You're insensitive. You're a troll. You're horrible. You're a crabby human being. Online and in the media, people are saying those types of things to Sophie Cunningham, and all she said simply was, quote, anybody who was born a male should not play women's sports, close quote. Saying to me something as simple as that has made this a fireball controversy, where you tie politics with society and political science and culture and morality, all because she made a point that, in my opinion, and that in Playmaker's opinion, is very valid. Why would you want a male? Why would you want someone who was born a male, and probably someone who still is a male, participate in anything that women do? To a lesser degree, would you want someone who's born a female coming to a man's league? No. So I don't see the problem. I don't see the civil rights problem, which that's the knock. I don't see the civil rights problem. I'm like, there's proof. Riley Thomas, swimmer. He, she, whatever you want to call him or her. When he decided to make himself a male, he was coming in last in meets. He decided to become a female, and all of a sudden he was breaking NCAA records left and right. And Sophie was calling that type of abuse out, and she gets castigated by those who think that she's being insensitive and inhuman. Now, Coach Staley, she agrees that it's unfortunate that all great things happening on the court are seemingly being pushed to the back of the room in discussions like these. And she went on to say, quote, it's an incredible product that we're missing out on because we got distractions every time. There's something great happening. There are always distractions placed in your life, but you got to be able to handle them. Close quote. And, congratulations, WNBA. There are more eyeballs on your product. Viewership is now 17% higher than last season. And last season was a record-setting year. Attendance is strong again. And this is what I was saying earlier. The attention is good, but not all of it is good. Now, as the WNBA continues to grow in popularity, you got these social media attacks that I was mentioning earlier that's directed at players, and that has increased. Also, what's increased is betting on the game, betting on the sport. Newly minted Hall of Famer Candace Parker, she had this to say about the personal attacks and the threatening comments that are directed at players. Quote, "It was more swept under the rug in the past, but now it's not because you can't. We can't tell every player to just deal with it. That's just not how it works. I know I'm proud that some people think that they're anonymous when they make comments online, and they're finding out that they're not. And there are going to be repercussions. Unfortunately, that's the climate in our country right now, to be honest with you. And I think women always feel it more, and it's always been that way from top to bottom." Close quote. Fellow inductee for this year in the Hall of Fame, Shamiqua Holdsclaw. Now, she said that she had disagreements with teammates during her WNBA stint from 1999 to 2010, but those were kept private and not brought out on social media, which then was in its infancy. She had this to say about that. Quote, "I've had teammates that I may not agree with their politics or beliefs, but we all know that as long as the locker room is good, we're good." Close quote. Here's the issue. I don't have an issue with what Shamiqua said, but here's the other angle of this, Shamiqua. We now have people, and I will say this, we have people who are in social media, and we have people in the national media who they're getting their run and they're getting their shine because they could get into the locker room and get the tidbit and the tea. Who's she dating? Who she's engaged to? Who she's marrying? Is she straight or is she gay? What's her stance on Trump? Is she monogamous or she believe in polyamory? I mean, you got people who want to dig that deep into the locker room now, who are media credentialed. Some are. And that is the problem that these athletes today are experiencing. And so it now gets to the point where some have to keep their mouth shut and they want to not give any of us anything but what we see on the court. And I can tell you from watching other sports, Art Monk from the NFL comes to mind. Eddie Murray from Major League Baseball comes to mind. And to a degree, Barry Bonds from MLB as well. But definitely Murray and Monk. They had the reputation that they were not good interviews. And then unfortunately, it stained a little bit them. But it really wasn't they were bad interviews. Like, it wasn't that they weren't forthcoming or they weren't intelligent or they weren't gregarious or you didn't get anything from them. It was for lack of a better term, they got early in their career and they were like, okay, well, I'm going to limit what I say to the media. And if that means that I'm going to be called snarky or irascible or difficult, then so be it. And I think we're probably going to start seeing more and more players, both in the WNBA realm and in the NBA realm, be that way. And I think that is what the issue is going to be. And I think that's the issue that we're facing now. What is considered good for us, the paying public, the watching, the viewing public? to consume for news? Is the private life of these players up for grabs? And if it's not from that certain player telling us who she's dating, who she's not dating, how she's dating, if she's getting married, if she's having a baby. If she decides, well, no, I'm not going to disclose all of that, I'm going to be private, then it's up to us to respect those women's wishes. But considering that you now have Caitlin Clark, who, whenever she talks about racism, people want to basically be like E.F. Hutton. And for those who talk about that, Gen Xers, those who get the reference, you get it. For those who don't, there was a commercial in the early to mid 80s with this guy named John Houseman, who I think was a Harvard professor, but he turned actor and got hugely popular at the time. And so I think it was Smith Barney, I think. And so, yeah, he would say, Smith Barney, we make money the old fashioned way. We earn it. And with that, I think you're starting to see people understand that these players want us to earn what we understand, earn what we can ascertain for information, earn the respect from them, because they have to earn our respect for the play they put forth on the court. And so now you're having these players who are intelligent, but as I said, Caitlin pays a huge price every time she speaks, because there's going to be somebody that's going to disagree with whatever she puts forth on a mic. So yes, with the fouls being uneven, with the game being, I won't say too physical, but with the game being physical, and I hate calling it political because the subject matter is not political, with the cultural powder keg that exists, whether it is race, whether it is gender, whether it is being transgender. People want to know what these players think. And what does make it political is it now is, if definitely with racism and transgenderism, if you believe a man can a male can play in the WNBA, then you represent the jackass. If you believe they don't, you represent the elephant. If you believe that the league is too black and too chocolate, then you're a MAGAite. You're a MAGAite, and you represent the elephant again. If you love the fact that it's Chocolate City in the WNBA, then you represent the jackass again. The problem is that this is not about political affiliation. And if you want to know what is dragging down this type of topic, it is that. It's the fact that you have political affiliations tied to cultural phenomena. And that is what's happening today. And it makes the climate for coaches and players, especially in the WNBA, much more difficult. The water's murkier. The landmines more prevalent when you have these issues all the time, having to be rearing its ugly head. And when a mic is shoved in their mouth, they have to watch what they say. Not because they don't believe what they say, not because they don't want to give forth what they feel, but they now have to think, what's the backlash that's going to occur with what comes out of my mouth? And unfortunately, you're going to see more scrutiny because of that. And that's tied on top of bad officiating. An ownership group that basically is persona non grata, and a commissioner that is MIA. So enjoy the fruits of your growth, WNBA, but you know you have to deal with the added pressure that comes with proving proof of concept. This is the second year in a row, I believe, you're making money. You're making a profit. I mean, Magic Johnson actually said, I've owned the Sparks for 10 years. Haven't made a dime. So you have impetus to prove people wrong, even those who love basketball like Magic Johnson. You can prove that this game is profitable and that you all can have these wonderful takes and that you are dealing with the fact that refereeing and officiating is absolute hot garbage and that you have a fundamentally sound game where you don't need to play above the rim in order to draw 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,000 people to see you at one time. Your game is good. And at the precipice of what really matters the most, you have no issue at all. The product on the court can't be much better. And I'm only talking about from the player's standpoint. Obviously, the officiating can improve, but the play on the court, stellar. And it's getting better by the year. Hold that to account. And everything else, it will have to revolve around the success of what you put forth on the deck.
If you're watching WWE and not repping your favorite superstar, what are you doing? T-shirts, championship hoodies, this is how you show who you ride with. Whether it's legends or the stars that are running it right now, it's all about representing your side. Hit the link in the description and shop official gear right now through WWE Shop. Every era, every superstar, every fan. Don't just watch. Represent.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay. Then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
The game is about to start. The last thing you should be worrying about is what's for dinner. With Cook Unity, chef-crafted meals are ready to enjoy in minutes. Great food, less hassle, more game time. Cook Unity, available through the Playmakerz network. Success starts with the right setup. Whether you're working, creating, gaming, or building your next big idea, Odin Lakes helps you create a workspace designed for comfort and productivity. From ergonomic chairs to modern office solutions, Odin Lake is built for the grind. Work smarter, create better. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmakerz network.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
No matter what you are watching, one thing stays the same. You gotta represent your team the right way. Whether it's jerseys, hats, or hoodies, what you wear is part of the experience. If you're looking to upgrade your gear or getting ready for the next game, we got you covered. Hit the link in the description and shop officials licensed gear through Fanatics. Every team, every league, every fan. Don't just watch the game, represent it.
At the Playmakers Network, sports are more than games. They're a community. From basketball and college football to professional wrestling and Rams football, our shows keep fans informed, entertained, and connected. Watch live, listen on your favorite podcast platform, and join the conversation. The Playmakers Network. Sports, community, conversation.
Welcome back to Turning Lights Out. Miss Johnson, a very good impromptu full court slam.
Well, thank you. I wasn't even trying to make it a full court slam, but I love the fact that I got a chance to talk about something that's near and dear, and that is the growth of this sport, especially from the women's end, and seeing it come up against really hard obstacles. They have what it takes. They have what it takes to make this grow. They do.
I had a pleasure of sitting back and just listening. I was like, I don't even need to inject myself into this. I'm like, Cole got this. I'll let him have it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, my man, my best friend, my ace. Why is it Leffy? Mr. Stuck in My Mind, Mr. Real Wise Global Network man. He says, hello, gentlemen. What's up, brother? I hope everything's good with you. I'm seeing that you came off of your Stuck in My Mind interview. He says, look, why is it my girl Sabrina Ionescu just plays ball? Well, that's why. You know, and like I said, you're going to see more athletes like her, I think, where it's like, especially with the climate given the climate of today's times, is it worth my actually saying my opinion out here for it to basically be taken right and left, whether they agree or disagree with it? Nah, I'll just ball. There you go.
That's a gift and a curse depending on who it is, because that was the whole thing. I forgot that Fox News anchor name, but we were trying to tell LeBron to shut up and dribble.
Laura Ingraham. And she was telling not just LeBron, she was telling Kevin Durant that too.
Like, who are you to tell them to shut up and dribble?
And see, and right there, that was taken as a racial attack. It's just how the climate is in today's sports and cultural landscape.
Probably the reason why I don't watch or listen to news that much, but I probably should, so I know what's going on. But
well, I mean, occupational hazard. I had no choice, but yeah, but I understand why people don't, and I've heard it. I've heard it for the last 10 years. In fact, I've heard it even from my own family. Actually, more than 10 years. I've heard it from my own family. Why should I? Why I don't want to be depressed. I don't watch stuff that makes you depressed. I want to watch stuff that uplifts me. So I get it. Unfortunately, though, you need to watch the news so you know what's going on.
maybe why that's I'm so chill and laid back. No negativity comes my way. All negativity gets blocked. Don't bring it over here. No. But I should pay attention more just so I know what's going on and know the climate of things.
Yeah.
Maybe I can lean on you more on that one.
Okay. I have no issue with that. You know, I flex. You know, I flex my political muscle. So I have no issue with.
Man, you got a whole show for it. Shout out to Wise Heavy Mentality.
Yes. But speaking of that show, yes, my brother in Mentality. Yep. And we're gonna fire off with some more stuff. Woo.
Matter of fact, you just said it. There you go. Part 2.
Like if people, he says we might have discussed what I just did on mentality. We are going to discuss that.
So you have part 1 here. You get part 2 on mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to discuss just how good and how cancerous at times, how politics and culture, how it can bleed into sports, and if it's a good thing or if it's a cancerous thing, and the many examples of both. Yeah, we are going to talk about that.
But let's go ahead and get y'all up out of here for today. But the games to watch, Mr. Johnson, tonight is a big one because remember what I said earlier that another team could most likely clinch a playoff spot? I think you know what I'm talking about.
That would be the Valkyries. Mm-hmm. And they may do it at home tonight. All times that you'll see listed are Eastern Daylight Time. Tonight's tip-off is at 10 p.m. on New York, but we're playing this game in San Francisco. It's at 7 p.m. local time. The Valkyries, who right now currently the number 2 seed in the WNBA, they will take on the Wings, who are currently number 8. And yes, if the Valkyries win, they'll be the 3rd team to clinch a playoff berth. That game will be televised on Peacock and the NBC Sports Network.
And Cole Johnson still loves Dallas.
Yes, I still love Dallas. I'm going to love Dallas even more in 3 weeks' time. On tomorrow night, you have 2 games that are tipping off at 7, 2 games tipping off at 9. The Sun, they will be hosting the Sparks. The Sparks be coming all the way from the West Coast to go there to a place that we will not be seeing them much longer play. And the Tempo, they will be hosting the Fever. That game will be in Toronto. Again, both those games will be tipping off at 7 and 7 local time as well. Again, we're mentioning a Fever game, so you know that game is being televised. You will see that one on ESPN. And you have the 2 9 p.m. games. The Sky, they host the Liberty. Of course, the Liberty are fighting for their playoff lives, while the Sky, they're just playing out the string. 9 p.m. tip-off, 8 p.m. in Chicago. And you got the Aces. They are hosting the Dream. That tip-off is at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in Las Vegas. That game will be televised, the Dream and the Aces.
That's a big game right there. That's a big game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the Sparks and Sun, the Fever and the Tempo. They'll tip off at 7 p.m. Eastern. You got the Liberty Sky, the Dream and the Aces. They'll tip off at 9 p.m. Eastern. And yes, to your point about the Dream and the Aces, you got the Aces, who I believe they're the 3rd seed, and you got the Dream, who are struggling to get to the top half of the playoffs, the playoff picture, so they can actually host a round. So yeah, this could affect the playoff standings in the weeks to come.
And then
you have Wednesday. On the early game will be the Tempo going to DC to play the Mystics. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. there. And then you have the Lynx and the Valkyries, the top 2 teams in the WNBA, facing off in the Yay area. Shout out to you, E40. Tip-off is at 10 p.m. there, 7 p.m. in the San Francisco area. USA Network will be televising that game. So you got the Tempo and the Mystics to tip off early on at 7:30 p.m. The Lynx and the Valkyries. The Lynx have a decent, comfortable lead over the Valkyries. Can the Valkyries chip away at that almost insurmountable distance between themselves and the Lynx?
A more important question, can the Valkyries actually play with the Lynx?
And yes, can the Valkyries actually get a dub against the Lynx, or will we see Olivia Miles boogie on them yet again? 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. local time for the tip-off. USA Network will be carrying that one.
So Tuesday, got some good games. Wednesday, got a game to watch. Tonight, you have a game to watch.
You have a game to watch too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, we're getting. Yeah.
This is how you know the playoff is coming.
Yeah, we're getting down to nitty gritty. We're getting down to the games where almost every team has 10 to 14 games left. So yeah. Now we're about to start to see the best of these teams play, and you're about to see a little bit more hunger in what these teams do. And I love this time because you're now going to see the vets actually say, all right, now it's really time to start cranking it up.
That's the games to watch before we get out of here.
Wise, he says, look, I was trying to show how mature I have become. And then I thought about it and said, heck no.
You know what, Cole?
No, man.
I'm gonna let you do the outro today. I think you earned that.
All right, well, thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to Shooting Lights Out. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this particular network on the YouTube channel, the Playmakers Network YouTube channel, like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the Playmakers Network, where you will get a chance to watch Monarchs of Wrestling, which will be coming on and coming your way at the bottom of this hour. You have Roundly Talk that comes your way every Thursday in the late summer and the fall, and depending on the playoffs, probably even a little bit of the winter. And you have Bearing Down the Gridiron, which that comes your way between now and latter part of January, every Wednesday. You get all of that on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. So for all of you who want your basketball news with a deep shot into the hoops culture the way we provide it, we beat your dude. That's the Playmaker. I am Cole Johnson, here to say so long, because you have now just tuned in to watching Shooting Lights Out. Peace.
You've done good. You've done great. But you can't stop here. You can't stop now. You gotta keep going. Through all your trials and your tribulations, you gotta keep pushing. Now, finish your canvas.
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that bitch again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the floor. Cause that's the only way to